Yeah, I have been admitting lots of students from the waiting room. Mm, I don't know if there is a problem signing into Zoom and getting into the meeting. So I would like you to tell me if you are unable to get into the meeting because you did, even after signing into Zoom or something. I don't know what the issue is. Because if you cannot get into the meeting on your own, uh, when the class is going on, if you have to step outside, there is a risk that I may not see you when you come back. So please, sign into Zoom before you click on the meeting link. I think you have to sign up only once, and then you can be admitted for all future occurrences of the class. So I'm requesting you to do that from next week onwards, or at least even this week. Does anyone have any comments?
I just click on the link that came in through like the email, and it signs me in, and I put the password in, and then it just puts me in the waiting room. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I think if you yeah, maybe I should disable the waiting room. Maybe that will help. So let me go ahead and disable the waiting room. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't know this system that well to.
It didn't put me in a waiting room.
Yeah, I
I
know.
registered for the class though. I mean the meetings.
You did not sign into Zoom, did you?
I was signed into Zoom.
Okay, let me go ahead and disable the waiting room. Maybe that will, maybe that will change the behavior. Um, yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, maybe I will. Yeah, let's see if I disable the waiting room. This will help. Okay. So I have. I said no waiting room for this. So that that might change its behavior. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. There are a couple of things I want to do before we do the class exercise. Let me share the D12 site. So here I have posted lots of videos. I know about, I mean, different people have watched different videos, I suppose. But not everybody has watched the videos. Please remember that I will not be lecturing on any topics during these Thursday meetings. Thursday meetings will be to answer any questions that you might have and also highlight anything that is important regarding the course, and then do the class exercise. And after about 5-6 weeks, I will be meeting with the individual groups for the group projects. So there is no real traditional instruction going on in the meetings. I expect you to watch all the videos before coming to class and before taking the quiz. That would be the way that we operate. What I wanted to also talk about this evening is this extra credit work. If you look at your D12 site, you should see a module here, collaboration and teamwork module. So this is a module that would help you sharpen your ability to work together in a team. So if you do all the assigned work, you may get up to 50 points as extra credit, which is going to be 5% of the total grade. And for many of you, that might actually change your final grade for the course. So I would, I mean, that's up to you whether you want to use it or not. Let me tell you what it involves. The first step is going to happen this month in September. You will be invited fairly soon to participate in an assessment process of your teamwork skills, collaboration and teamwork skills. So you will get, I think, an email from an organization called Checkster.com, and you will need to get assessments of your ability to work collaboratively within a team by people who know you professionally. So I ask that those assessments be done by not your friends, not relatives, but people who know you professionally. So that is required. And the maximum points for getting that survey done would be 10 points out of 50. If you don't get all of these assessments by people who know you professionally, you won't get all the 10 points. It doesn't really matter what those assessments are, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter whether they rate you highly or low. That is not the issue. The issue is that you should get your assessment done through your professional acquaintances. And once you finish that process, around the beginning of October, you will start working on these modules. There are 4 learning objectives for this module. So you will have to go through every one of these modules, and each module has some readings, some videos, and some documents to read and so on. And each module also has an assignment that you need to submit. The assignment would usually involve some work with group members and maybe create a video and submit the video, or maybe do some write-up. Then there is also a quiz associated with each of these modules. So the quizzes are under assessments. So if you go to assessments, then there you can see these quizzes, and the due dates are all given here. I put the due dates in such a way that there was less clash with your other submissions. I believe there is probably nothing else is due on these days, but I might be mistaken, but I tried to put it in such a way. Okay. So there are all these 4 quizzes associated with the 4 learning objectives, and then there is a final quiz. So each one of these is worth like, actually it should be, each one of these is worth like 2 points, okay? Then there are 4 assignments required for each of these modules. So that is here. There are 4 submissions. The dates are given here. So these dates coincide with the quiz dates. Yes, somebody had a question?
Yeah, there are some people that are still trying to get into the session.
That is
there's only 18 of us in here. There's at least.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, thank you. Let me.
While you're at that, can you explain again how to join like automatically? I remember you mentioned like a link on D2L somewhere.
Yeah,
I
that's
couldn't
a good
find it.
question. We were talking about that a little while ago. Yeah.
Professor Dayton, there are
Yeah.
students waiting in the waiting room.
Yeah, that's what I'm admitting them. Yeah. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a Zoom expert by any stretch of imagination. So I thought if you would sign into Zoom and click on the link, you would be admitted because we all belong to Metro State. But I had enabled a waiting room that might actually be putting people in the waiting room. So I disabled the waiting room for all occurrences from now on. I just did that a few minutes ago. I don't know if that would help. So I apologize if my settings are not right. Maybe I should look at the Zoom help or ask somebody about this.
You might want to take a look at the settings where it says all participants has to register to join.
Okay, I don't know what that registration, I thought that would mean simply signing up. Maybe that is not what it is.
So check it.
Yeah, let me go ahead and then maybe change. Give me a second. Let me go ahead and, otherwise I will forget if I don't do it now. Let me go ahead and edit that.
I think it's settings.
Yeah, okay, yeah, edit. Edit all occurrences. Let's see if I would required. This is what you're suggesting, right?
That's correct.
Disabling the required. But then I'm wondering if that would let some intruders to come in.
I can log out and try while you're on. So
okay, okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Professor, I had some questions about these collaborative assignments.
Uh-huh.
So you said it needs to be professional colleagues that work with you on it.
Right.
So I don't have any professional colleagues.
It can be your classmates.
Okay.
Who are not friends.
Question.
Who are not friends.
Okay.
Yeah. It cannot be one's brother or sister or parents or the best pal or something. You know, that we don't want that. Well, nowadays I don't apply for jobs, but years ago when I used to apply for jobs, I used to get recommendations from my colleagues. Okay. So like that, you can get assessments from your classmates. That's fine.
Okay.
The idea is those assessments should be helpful to you. You know, if you get it from your pals or relatives, they might be a little colored. They may not reflect your ability to work collaboratively in a professional setting. So you wouldn't be benefiting. That is the issue. You see what I'm saying? Okay. It is not enough for me to get my assessment from my spouse or daughter, you know, that they view me differently. But if I get an assessment from my colleagues, they would actually see how I work professionally. So that is the whole idea. So, okay, coming back to the module. Let's see, Rose is still in Rose. Okay, coming back to this module here, the assignments are here. So they are due on the same day as the quizzes. So this will, some of them actually ask you to create videos, some are written.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Did Rose get added back in?
Yeah, I had to admit her too. Yeah, she didn't get in. Thank you. I will have to read up on this because this is going to be the more way that we hold classes for a while now. So, okay. And at the very end of the semester, you also need to fill out a survey. So there will be a survey that needs to be filled out. And there may be one other thing that is up in the air, whether there is going to be anything else. And that would really be about 10 points. So the 50 points would be divided like this. The 360 assessment that you need to do this month is worth 10 points. Then the assessment, the assignments and quizzes are worth a total of 30. And the last part of the whole thing, the survey, is worth 10 points. And if you haven't participated in the quizzes, I mean, this is all optional, right? So if you did not submit any of the if you did not submit enough assignments and do enough quizzes, you will not be allowed to do this. I mean, you will not be allowed to do the survey. The survey is only open to people who have at least done 70%, or who have at least gotten 70% of the grade from the assessments and quizzes. Because I don't want this survey to be a misleading indicator. This survey is going to go to another agency, and they need to, it should be meaningful to them. So we don't want a survey from people who did not participate sufficiently in the process. So at the very end, if you say, like, I didn't participate at all, or I participated minimally, and I would like to do the survey, the answer would be no, because the survey has to be of help. It has to be meaningful. And 5% can make a lot of difference to your grade. For example, if you have 84%, and if you add 5% to it, you are actually in A minus. From B, you are going to go all the way to an A minus. So this can make a lot of difference. That is what I wanted to say regarding the extra credit work. So sometime this weekend or early next week, I'm going to send the message out to get email messages automatically sent to you through checkster.com, and then you can start your assessment process. Any questions? Okay, then let me stop the recording. We are going to do a class exercise just like last time. Many of the questions are multiple choice or multiple choice mostly. Some of them also have very short answers. So for those, you may have to enter okay, no, or write a class name. Please follow the cases. So for example, if you write the name of a class, please ensure that the case is followed. For example, there is a class called mouse with a capital M. So don't write lowercase mouse. Don't put spaces. Then it will be counted against you. And so please follow the requirements carefully. And so there are multiple choice, there are fill in the blanks, and there is one question that has like 3 parts with a lot of code to be written. Perhaps you can postpone that to the end. For some reason, I am unable to rearrange the questions. So once I create the questions, they are set like that. I don't quite understand how to rearrange the questions. It used to be possible very easily in D2L. For some reason, I'm unable to do that in this version of the program. Okay, any questions before on anything actually, on anything that we are doing tonight that was on the reading, that was in the videos, that was in the PowerPoint, anything that you may have questions on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could kind of explain on the quiz that we had to do last night, question 7.
Okay, let me go ahead and see. All right, let me stop sharing here. Let me go ahead and pull that up. That was question 7. Okay, let's give me a minute, okay?
No worries.
Yeah. All right, let me share that screen with you. So this is the question, right? B1 equals new C.
Yeah.
Then, and it is a legal statement. So what it means is B is an interface or a superclass of C. B is either an interface that C implements or B is a superclass of C. Otherwise, this wouldn't be legal. Then B1.M1, is it legal? That is the question. If M1 is declared in C, regardless of whether it is declared in B, then this is not legal. M1 has to be in B. If M1 is declared in B, regardless of whether it is declared in C, then if M1 is declared in B, then it doesn't have to be necessarily declared in C, but so that is the answer, correct answer, right? If let me try to explain why that is the case. So maybe I will keep this. Oh, I can't. Let me go see if I can copy and paste this and try to explain. I'm trying to see if I can show this on, I can copy this onto the white board. So let me see, let me go ahead and share the whiteboard. Okay, yeah, so this is the situation. We have, let me go ahead and explain a little bit here. So, oops. So this stuff here, new C, which means C is a class. And B, either, I mean, either it should be like this, which is B is a class, or it could be that the other situation is B is actually an interface. It has to be one of these. Okay. Otherwise, this kind of an assignment is impossible. You cannot have a reference of type B point to the C. So that is one thing. Second thing is, what about this B1.M1? So there has to be a method M1 where? Well, the compiler, when it looks at this, has to be able to say, this makes sense. How can it say that? For that, it is only knowing when it is compiling this particular line. See, it is not executing anything. So it doesn't know what the actual type of B1 is. It knows that the declared type is B. B1 is declared as B. So its declared type is B. So M1 has to be in B. Okay. So it is not the case that this is not right. It has to be in B, regardless of. Oops. Okay, I didn't get everything pasted here, so we can go and take a look at the other options later. But but suppose M1 is declared in B, then if M1 is in B, either as a class or as an interface, then B1.M1 is fine, because all Java cares is whether there is a method called M1 in the unit B. Whether B is a class or an interface is immaterial. So it doesn't have to be in C. It could be in C too. So you could have M1 here and it could be overridden here. Then when you write or when you execute this line, B1.M1 would actually go and execute this M1 as opposed to this. But for the compiler to okay this, it doesn't really matter. All it cares is whether the declared type of B1 has this method M1. But if it is an interface, the interface has to have M1. If it is a class, the class has to have M1. Of course, if it is an interface, C would have that implementation. But the compiler doesn't care whether it is declared in C. The other two options were only, so it really does, so that makes the third option illegal. The third option, although it is not appearing in the shared screen, it says only if M1 is declared in B and C. No, you don't have to have it in C. It has to be in B. That is the only thing.
So it has to be in B because that is the type that's being declared as B1.
Correct, correct. It only, the compiler only looks at the declared type because it doesn't know what happens during execution, right?
Right.
So it has to, that is a kind of a minimal requirement, you know? Yeah. Anything else?
Yes, about the quiz that ended yesterday, I didn't see it. I know I just saw it today. I don't know how that could happen. It says like a quiz before lecture 2.
Yes, it has been there for a few days now.
Yeah, I didn't get any warning, or I just saw it today, so I don't know how to.
What do you mean warning? I mean,
usually I get warning when quiz due or something.
You mean like a notification from B2L?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I don't know.
I got that notification. So.
Oh, I didn't even know that there was a notification.
Yeah, usually like 2 days before any due date on B2L, if it's like you've set the due date on there, it'll notify you in the notifications 2 days before the due date. I did get that notification, so I don't know what happened.
I did not get that notification.
Okay.
Same here.
It might be something with your settings in D2L actually.
There is a quiz due the night before class. That is, we meet Thursdays. So every week, except when we have an exam, there is a quiz due by 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the correct answer is M1 has to be in B.
In B, correct.
So, but it would work if M1 is still in C or no?
Oh, yes, of course. So that would, yeah, coming back to this particular situation, you could declare M1 in C.
Yeah.
Even though M1 is already declared in B, then when it executes this line v1.m1, it would actually go to the actual type.
So what is the correct answer?
It would actually, it would use the actual type of B1, which is C, and then it will execute this. If B was an interface, you have to have that implementation. I mean, otherwise, this C will not be a legal class. So it has to be in B, but does not have to be in C. Yes. You were saying something when I was speaking. I thought, yeah, I don't know.
Correct answer is A?
No, B.
What is? Oh, I can't see it. So yeah.
The correct. Oh, maybe. Let me see. Let me go ahead and share this again. I don't know why you can't see it. Yeah, can you see it now?
No, you went back to the same page.
Yeah, this is, I mean, this is the question, you know, part of the question.
Yeah.
Can you see it? The B option here is here.
No, I can't see it.
If you exit out of full screen, you should be able to see it.
Oh, exit out full screen.
So question, Professor Dayton,
Yes.
is the idea that when you are writing Java code in the background, the compiler is checking to make sure that your code is legal or
Correct.
following
Correct.
the rules.
Right.
Until you execute it, then it knows how to go to the right reference and pull that information it needs in order to perform some type of work.
That is correct.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
that. Thank you. That's very helpful. Yeah, that is exactly right. As you are writing the code, the compiler has to check whether it makes sense. And one thing that the compiler is looking at is there a method called M1 in this unit called B? It has to be there in B, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Where it actually executes is a matter for the Java runtime system. As it is running, it will decide where to go. Whether if there is an M1 in B, but no M1 in C, it will go to the M1 in B. But if M1 is declared in both, it will go to the C's version. Any other questions? Okay. If there are no other questions, there was one other thing I wanted to say before I closed this session. That is, the second assignment is out, and you can watch, you can see the document on D2L under assignments. I have posted two videos. One is showing what the functionality of the program is. The other one shows you how to set up JavaFX. It has become a little bit of a pain getting JavaFX to run. Java has kind of separated Java from JavaFX. So you have to download JavaFX separately and link it to Eclipse and do a lot of stuff for your Java program to work. So please follow the directions given in the video. That is the second video in the list, to download JavaFX, install it, and then hook up Eclipse and JavaFX and incorporate the JavaFX code in your project, and then how to get that project executed. That is going to be a bottleneck for some of you. Every semester I have had students get into trouble because of all the little details you have to worry about. So if you wait until the last minute and try this, you're going to be late with the assignment. So start working on that right now, immediately after submitting the first assignment. Start working on getting JavaFX set up, have the ability to execute FX code on your system, develop FX code on your system. So please watch the 2 videos and read the document as soon as you can. Don't postpone. Okay. Any other questions before we close this?
Are you going to reopen the quiz that was due yesterday, or should I consider it a missed quiz?
Sorry. What was it you're saying?
I'm just saying, are you going to reopen the quiz that was due yesterday? Because I didn't see it.
I will. If you miss a quiz, the only option is to use one of the allowances, and then you can retake the quiz. But that will mean that you have 2 allowances for the semester, and you will lose one of those allowances. That is entirely up to the student whether they want to use it or not.
How many point that quiz has?
I have a question.
The quiz is worth 10 points, and each allowance is a bonus worth 2 points. You have 2 allowances for this entire semester. Okay, so if you get full points, you get a net of 8 points. Somebody else had a question?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, please ask.
So, for the programming assignments, including the first one, the second one, for specific classes where you have us include certain methods, are you write our own methods to add on to it, or do you just
for the second assignment
to
you mean,
have
right?
These ones specifically?
For the second assignment?
I'm asking about the first one specifically.
Okay, what was your? Could you please ask that question? I wasn't quite clear what you meant.
So, for example, like the employee class, you want like prints and get name. Like,
I'm sorry, your audio is not coming across well, and I have a hearing problem. So it's probably both.
No, it's a little bit choppy for me too.
Okay.
Might be best to type it.
Let me try something. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
All right. So I was saying, for example, like the employee class, you want us to include like get name and print. I don't remember. Are you allowed to like add other methods to it?
The employee class.
I think what he's asking is if he can add extra methods to the class that are not included in the project or in the assignment.
Let me think about that. Yes, you can add get name. Yeah, no problem.
He means methods that are not
helper methods.
No, I mean not. I mean get name is okay.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah, I'm asking if we're allowed to add other methods to the class that you didn't require in the assignment.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know, let's say you want to find the uh, how many employees are in the employee list, like
You see,
Yeah.
okay, let me say some things that might help you answer help you find the answer to that. I mean, the answer is no, there is no need. The reason being, there is a method, you can put a method called print, which will print everything. And you can call print from other classes too, right? It is a public method. It can be called from other. You can put toString if you want, and that can return the name. There is, for example, to print, there is no need for the building list to know how many employees are there in its list, for example. It can always do an iteration without knowing the number of employees. So you don't need the number of employees or anything of that kind to be known in the building list. Or, no.
all right.
Because the functionality is very minimal here. The kinds of things you need to do, you need to just print the employee, just need to be able to print all the employees in the in a building. And for that, you just resort to the employee list. The employee list should take care of that, the printing of the employees, you know. So if you start putting lots of methods, the problem is that you are not utilizing the functionality that is already there, or that by the methods that I require. Then you are, yeah. Any other questions?
So I kind of had a question about the class exercises, like the groups you break us out into.
The groups?
Yeah, I was wondering why, is it possible for like the group projects we're supposed to do, like we work with the same members for the class exercises as well? Just to keep it consistent?
I'm thinking about that, but that will happen only after we form the groups. So we are not forming the groups yet. I'm assigning groups randomly at this stage because there may be the students who don't know enough other students. So this would be an opportunity for people to meet at least a few students in class the first 5 weeks or so. So at the end of after 5 weeks, we will form the groups, and then I can consider putting people in the same project group for the class exercise too. But one risk is, of course, that students will start doing their project instead of the class exercise, but the class exercise counts for points. So maybe that will not happen. Yeah, but that is, that I will consider after about 5 weeks. At this point, I just want to do things randomly. I am letting Zoom do the assignments.
I had the same question too, so okay.
Yeah, because believe it or not, there will be students who don't know enough people in the class, and they need to meet a few people before they can decide who their group mates should be. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, then I'm stopping recording. I'll create the breakout rooms. I think maybe 8 rooms, and then I will go around the rooms. I will just keep going around. When I come in, if you have questions, ask me. If you have comments, tell me. It would be good if in every group there is one person who has the screen shared so that others can look at the question that you are discussing and make comments, collaborate. And then if you want to rotate that responsibility, that is fine. But if you start rotating for every question, it would be probably very time consuming. But after a few questions, you can probably switch over the responsibility to somebody else. And then that would make it more productive. And also, if you share a screen, when I come in, I can immediately see something. And then maybe if I want to make a comment, I can do that. And I will not be, I may not ask any questions when I come in. I may just look at your screen and make comments, or maybe I won't have any comments. If I don't have any comments, I will just move to the next room. And also, I'm only one person, and there are like 8 rooms. So there is a limit to the amount of time that I can spend in any given room. So please understand that we are working with limited resources. So I'm going to create the breakout rooms now. And after that, after the class exercise is over, you can leave. Okay.
Are you?
Yes.
Sorry, are you going to release the class exercise quiz after you do the breakout rooms? Because I don't see it on the quizzes right now.
Yes, I will. Maybe I forgot to. Yeah, I will go ahead and do it right now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it should be available now. Okay.